Hi guys, I'm doing this video to share a little bit about myself, to tell you my story. So I was born in Austria. I'm 25 years old. I had a pretty normal childhood. Growing up, I played outside. I had, friends. I was really normal until about, let's say, when I was in third grade, I started to get bullied by my peers, and they were because I was bigger than them, and they were saying all, nasty things and all of that. But then the bullying stopped when I switched schools. But then it started again when I was about, let's say, in 8th grade. They were calling me King Kong, and they would always say, like, look, King Kong is coming down the hall. They used to say that because I had very hairy arms and I was bigger, and I guess I looked like King Kong to them. And thank God, I had a strong support system because I had a lot of friends, and so it didn't affect me as much, in my situation. But the bullying was bad, but it didn't affect me as much because I had my friends, I had my social life, so I wasn't stuck in this, vicious circle. So when I was about, let's say, 15, my parents got a divorce. They separated. They both married somebody else. Somebody new. And then when I was like 15 and a half, I weighed 106 kilos. So my parents were like, how come this girl used to do a lot of horse riding and a lot of playing tennis, and how come that she's gained so much weight? That doesn't really make sense. So let's take her to get checked. So then they checked my thyroid, they checked everything, and everything was good. So then they took me to a nutritionist, and the nutritionist said that she's going to do a schedule where, like an eating schedule, so where I have to weigh my food, where, I have to eat regularly, I have to, eat protein, not that much carbohydrates, what type of carbohydrates to eat, and all of that stuff. And then it worked. I got down to about 89 kilos, so I lost, let's say, like 30 kilos. And then about, let's say, a year later, I gained 40 kilos. I gained 40 kilos, so I was 130-ish or 129 by the time I graduated high school. So I decided, because I was in a pretty, bad headspace, that I thought it would be better to leave Austria. So I decided to move, but I didn't really understand as an 18-year-old what it meant moving across, basically the pond, because I moved to the US because my stepdad is American. We have a house there. So I was like, oh, well, let me move there. I will go to college there and see how I like it, But I didn't understand what it meant. I didn't understand that it would be being far away from my dad. It would be, missing day-to-day things that I used to do here in Vienna, which I thought was normal everywhere else, but it wasn't, because here it's very easy getting around. You don't need a car. You can just get into the metro and go somewhere. I mean, you can go to the woods, you can go swimming, you can do all this kind of stuff, which in the area where I was in the US, you would need a car because taking public would take you too long. So I felt very cooped up in this little bubble, and so I couldn't really cope with that well. So I decided to, after a year, to come back to Vienna and to continue studying here. And I was in a really bad headspace then. I was depressed. It was hard for me to get out of bed, or to do all these, normal things. It was very difficult for me. So I decided to move out from my dad's house and get my parents helped me get my own place. And so I was living alone, and then pretty much, let's say, 8 months later, I got a dog, which you all know is Mimi. And she basically changed my whole life. She made me more responsible, made me more aware. She also helped me out of my shadow. She like helped me get out of bed when I didn't want to, because you know you have to walk a dog, otherwise she pees in the house, and you interact here more with people. And so I started becoming more comfortable again in my skin, and she helped me basically to become a bit stronger. And then let's say in April, when I was 155 kilos, we went to see a doctor, we went to see a specialist, and the specialist says basically your thyroid is too small for your body. So what that entails means that all the food, everything that I was eating wasn't getting processed right. So then at the point, it would cause my depression, it would cause anxiety, it would cause not wanting to get out of bed, it would cause all these things that then made sense to me. And he said, you were basically born with this. So I was like, well, that makes sense. That also makes sense why I've gained so much weight lately, even though I've been doing sports and doing all this stuff, why I gained weight. So then I basically decided to, because I'm 25, near 5 years old now, I decided to change my life this year, to do a 1-year challenge, and to take you guys on this journey with me, to show you everything that I'm doing. And I also realized, because I was blaming a lot of other people in my life for the way I was, being treated, or the way I was feeling. I said, oh, it's your fault. It's your fault because I'm this big and blah, blah, blah. So now I realized that if I was going to change, it's up to me, nobody else. So I decided to do this video to start sharing my journey with you guys. And so I hope you liked this video, and I hope you will watch the other videos that I will share with you guys. And thanks for listening, and thanks for tuning in, and keep following me and Mimi. Yeah, so bye guys. Thank you. Bye.